Have you ever believed that the older you get, the more tests you need to feel safe? The shocking truth is that after 70, some common heart checkups may not make you healthier at all. In fact, they can quietly take away the most precious thing you have, your independence. I've seen too many people chasing the perfect numbers or agreeing to another routine test just to be safe, end up paying the price with dizziness, dangerous falls, and even the loss of their ability to live on their own. Today, I'm going to walk you through 6 heart tests that seniors over 70 should think twice about before doing, and more importantly, how you can walk into your doctor's office with confidence, asking the right questions to truly protect yourself. And at the end of this video, I have a special gift for you. The Heart Care Decision Card, a simple tool with 5 golden questions to carry into every appointment. It could completely change the way you protect your heart after 70. There's one number that sounds harmless, but has quietly put thousands of seniors over 70 into wheelchairs. That number is the so-called perfect blood pressure. Strange as it may sound, lowering blood pressure too aggressively in older adults can sometimes be more dangerous than high blood pressure itself. Let me tell you about Mrs. Helen, a 78-year-old neighbor. She was always careful, keeping meticulous notes of her blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol. When her readings were a little higher than the textbook goal, her doctor increased her medication, aiming to bring it down to 120. It sounded safe, but only weeks later, Helen felt dizzy while standing up from her sofa, collapsed and fractured her hip. A woman who once drove herself and did her own shopping suddenly needed a walker and daily help from her daughter. This is the deepest fear for many seniors, not the disease itself, but losing independence. When you need your children to lift you from a chair or someone's arm to steady you on the way to the garden, that helplessness can hurt more than the pain in your chest. The truth is, many people in their 70s and 80s still believe the lower, the better when it comes to blood pressure. But our bodies change with age. Arteries stiffen, the brain demands stronger blood flow to stay clear. Push those numbers too low, and the price is dizziness, falls, and sometimes a loss of everything that made you feel free. Living longer isn't only about medication. It's about keeping your feet steady, your mind sharp, and your independence intact. Have you ever felt lightheaded after taking your blood pressure pills? If so, type "I have" in the comments. You'll see you're not alone. Many others your age have gone through it. And when we speak up, we gain the strength to ask our doctors, can we set a blood pressure goal that keeps me safe and clear-headed, not just a number on paper? Helen's story isn't rare. It's a reminder that after 70, the perfect number doesn't matter as much as whether you can stand without wobbling, walk without falling, and hold a conversation without confusion. So how can we shift our thinking to avoid becoming victims of numbers? In the next part, I'll share a new approach to heart care. One built around your life goals and daily quality of life, not the standards written for 40-year-olds. There's one question most people never think to ask at a doctor's visit. What does this treatment goal really mean for me? We're used to hearing phrases like, your blood pressure must be below this number, your cholesterol should be that low. But after 70, your goals may look very different. You don't need numbers designed for 40-year-olds. What you truly need is a body steady enough to walk into the garden, clear enough to enjoy a story with your grandkids, and strong enough to keep your independence. I remember my friend Robert, 75, telling me after an appointment that his doctor gave him a long list of medications and targets. He laughed and said, "Harold, I feel like an old car, and they keep trying to replace every part so I'll run like new." That comment stayed with me, because sometimes chasing youthful standards takes away what matters most: comfort and peace in the years you have left. Heart care after 70 isn't just about lowering blood pressure, cutting cholesterol, or adding more tests. It's about asking a deeply human question. How do I want the rest of my years to feel? Maybe you want to walk to the park without fear, sit through your favorite music without fatigue, Or travel with family one more time. Every test, every pill, every procedure should serve that goal, not turn you into a prisoner of hospital visits and lab results. Sometimes less really is more. Fewer medications mean less fog and confusion. Fewer unnecessary tests mean less waiting, less anxiety. Fewer invasive procedures mean more energy to spend on the moments that matter. Less doesn't mean neglect. It means focusing on what truly improves your quality of life. So imagine this. Your doctor gives you two paths. One is to chase perfect numbers on paper. The other is to stay steady, safe, and at peace. Which would you choose? If you believe the greater goal is not just living longer, but living well, share in the comments. I choose to live strong. In the next part, I'll show you a surprising example. A tiny pill once considered a miracle against heart attacks. Daily aspirin. But for many people over 70, that daily dose may bring more risks than benefits. And you'll be surprised to learn why something so small can sometimes lead to such big consequences. Doesn't it sound strange that the pill long praised as a savior of the heart could also become the thief of a peaceful old age? Yet that's exactly the reality many seniors over 70 face with daily aspirin. Take David, a 74-year-old friend of mine. He was healthy, never had a heart attack or stroke, but took one aspirin every day as his insurance policy. One morning, he ended up in the hospital with severe stomach bleeding, not from heart disease, but from the very pill he thought was protecting him. He told me, his voice shaking, "I took it for peace of mind, but it stole the very peace I was hoping for." This points to a truth few want to admit. After 70, the benefits of daily aspirin for people who have never had a heart attack or stroke shrink, while the risk of dangerous bleeding grows higher. A pill that once seemed like a shield can quietly turn into a double-edged sword. For those who have already had a heart attack or stroke, aspirin may still be a valuable tool. But for many who haven't, the balance tilts. One small tablet may slightly reduce the chance of a rare event, but at the same time open the door to far greater harm. And here lies the hidden fear many seniors carry. Not the act of taking medicine, but the thought that medicine itself might betray them. None of us wants to feel like a hospital patient when all we were trying to do was stay well. So what should you do? Not quit suddenly, not continue blindly, but sit down with your doctor and ask, does aspirin still benefit me more than it risks at my age? If I have never had a heart attack or stroke, is there a safer option? Could lifestyle habits, better diet, light exercise, stress reduction, offer me the same or even greater protection? Pause for a moment and think. Are you taking aspirin every day? And why? Because your doctor prescribed it, because a friend suggested it, or because it just felt safer? Share your answer in the comments. I'm taking it, or I'm not. You might be surprised at how many others your age are asking the very same questions. Aspirin may look harmless, but sometimes the true cost is your quality of life. And after 70, what we want to protect most isn't just our heartbeat, but our steady steps, our clear minds, and our daily peace. Up next, I'll talk about another number that many people chase too strictly: blood pressure, and why driving it too low can sometimes be more dangerous than high blood pressure itself. Picture this. You walk into the doctor's office, the nurse takes your vitals, and the doctor smiles and says, "Congratulations, your blood pressure is finally under 120. Perfect." It feels reassuring, doesn't it? But here's the hidden truth. Sometimes that perfect number can be the start of a tragedy. I remember Frank, an 80-year-old neighbor who used to walk the block every morning. After months of higher doses of medication to bring his blood pressure down to that textbook goal, he began feeling dizzy whenever he stood up. One evening, he collapsed in the bathroom. That fall didn't just break his hip, it took away his ability to live independently. A perfect blood pressure cost him the very thing he valued most: his freedom. This is the unspoken fear many seniors carry. Yes, we fear heart disease, but even more, we fear the fall that leaves us unable to get back up. A number on paper might please the doctor, but one slip on a cold tile floor can change your life forever. Here's the twist. For younger adults, low blood pressure is wonderful, but after 70, your body often needs slightly higher pressure to keep blood flowing to your brain, your kidneys, and every cell that keeps you alert and steady. Forcing it down too far can be like shutting off the water supply while the tree is still thirsty. Research has shown that for seniors, sometimes keeping blood pressure a bit higher is actually safer. It can protect against dizziness, prevent falls, and preserve independence. That flies in the face of what many of us believe for decades. So I want to ask you, which would you choose, a perfect number on a chart, or the strength to walk to your garden, drive to the store, and hold your grandchild's hand without fear? If you choose stability over numbers, type in the comments, "I choose steady." You'll find you're not alone. Remember, after 70, the goal of treatment isn't to make you the ideal patient on paper. It's to help you live safe, sharp, and free for as long as possible. And next, we'll talk about another truth many people take for granted, that lower cholesterol is always better. But in older age, pushing cholesterol too low can bring consequences very few expect. Can you imagine someone breaking down in tears at the doctor's office? Not because of bad news, but because the doctor congratulated them, saying, "Your cholesterol is finally at the perfect level." It sounds like a victory, yet for that person, the good news marked the start of months of muscle pain, fading memory, and a steady loss of confidence. Linda, 76, is a perfect example. She had never suffered a heart attack or stroke, yet she was prescribed stronger cholesterol-lowering medication to drive her numbers down further. Her doctor called it an investment in the future. But only months later, her legs felt heavy, climbing stairs felt like carrying rocks, and she often forgot where she put her keys. She told me, "I never thought a perfect number on paper could make me feel 10 years older in just a few months." Here's the hidden reality. After 70, driving cholesterol too low can become a sweet trap. Instead of protecting your heart, it may weaken your body, cloud your mind, and increase your risk of dangerous falls. One pill, one number, but the cost is your quality of life. Ask yourself, do you really need textbook cholesterol at this age? Or do you need the strength and clarity to enjoy your later years? Studies show that for many seniors who have never had a heart attack or stroke, the benefits of pushing cholesterol lower are not as clear as the risks. And here's the twist. Cholesterol is not the enemy many think it is. Your body still needs a certain level to produce hormones, fuel your cells, and keep your mind sharp. Cutting it too low is like draining the fuel tank of a car that still needs to run the distance. So let me ask you, are you taking cholesterol-lowering medication right now? Do you take it because your doctor told you to, because of fear, or just because everyone else does? Share in the comments, "I'm taking it," or "I'm not." You may find that your voice sparks important conversations for others too. What truly matters after 70 isn't chasing a perfect cholesterol number. It's having steady legs, a clear memory, and a strong heart to enjoy life with your family. Next, I'll share a different kind of test, one that many seniors repeat year after year: bone density scans. And I'll explain why sometimes too many results on paper can quietly steal your confidence in your own strength. Imagine walking out of the doctor's office holding a piece of paper that reads, "Your bone density is lower than normal." Just a few bold words on a page, yet for the next week, every staircase looks dangerous, every dish feels heavy in your hand, and the thought echoes in your mind, "My bones could break at any moment." Margaret, at 82, told me her first bone density scan changed her life, but not in the way she expected. Before the test, she walked daily, practiced light exercise, and had never fallen. But after hearing her bones were thin, she withdrew. She stopped her Tai Chi class, avoided leaving the house, and grew fearful each time she felt a small crack in her joints. Within 6 months, she was weaker than ever, not because her bones had suddenly become fragile, but because fear had quietly stolen her confidence and her strength. This is one of the great paradoxes of aging. The very test meant to protect us can sometimes plant seeds of worry that do more harm than good. After 80, most women show some degree of osteoporosis. The real question is no longer, do I have it? But how can I stay balanced and avoid falls? Here's the twist. A number on paper doesn't break your bones, but the fear it creates might stop you from moving, and it's the lack of movement that truly weakens your skeleton. What matters most isn't the scan result. It's whether you still walk each day, whether you still stand tall and trust your own legs. So what should you focus on? Instead of repeating bone density scans year after year, put your energy into what actually protects you. Balance and strength training like gentle yoga, Tai Chi, or sit-to-stand exercises. Clearing hazards in your home to prevent trips and falls. Getting your vision checked and wearing stable shoes. Maintaining proper calcium and vitamin D intake under your doctor's guidance. Ask yourself, what will protect you better? A shifting number on a piece of paper, or the confidence to take each step without fear? If you agree that balance matters more than numbers, write in the comments, I choose steady. You may be surprised how many people share that same choice. When Margaret embraced this idea, she returned to her Tai Chi class, and almost magically, her body grew stronger, her mind brighter, and her fear began to fade away. Next, we'll tackle an even more sensitive subject, aggressive cancer screenings late in life, and why sometimes knowing less can actually help you live with more peace. Imagine sitting in the doctor's office and hearing these words. We found a small tumor. Your heart stops, your mind spins, and then the doctor adds, it's so slow growing that it may never cause you any harm for the rest of your life. That leaves you with a haunting question. Do you really want to know? Eleanor, at 84, shared her story with me. She was urged to go through extra cancer screenings just to be safe. The tests revealed a tiny growth on her thyroid, benign, slow, and essentially harmless. But from that moment on, fear took over her life. Each morning she woke wondering, is it growing? Is it going to kill me? She stopped enjoying family dinners, even though the tumor posed no real threat. This is the paradox. Sometimes the more we test, the less peace we have. At an advanced stage, what matters most isn't more numbers and reports, but more days of comfort, laughter, and calm with the people you love. Here's the twist. Not every cancer diagnosis leads to more years of life. With slow-growing cancers in frail seniors, aggressive treatments, surgery, chemotherapy, radiation can bring more pain, weakness, and loss of independence than the disease itself. A hospital bed filled with tubes is rarely the kind of extra time anyone hopes for, and this taps into a deep, unspoken fear for many older adults. It's not the fear of dying, it's the fear of spending the rest of life suffering, dependent, and disconnected from everything that matters. Sometimes less medical intervention is actually the more compassionate path, giving you back quality, dignity, and peace. So what should you do? Speak openly with your doctor and your family. Ask yourself honestly, is your priority to fight for every possible year or to preserve comfort and independence in the years you have left? There's no right or wrong answer, only the one that truly reflects your values. I want to invite you to comment below. I choose quality, or I choose time. Not to debate, but to remind each other that many share the same fears and choices. And remember, sometimes knowing less lets you live more. Fewer test results, but more laughter with your grandkids, more mornings with your favorite coffee, more hugs with the person you love. That's what the heart truly longs for after 70. Imagine waking up one morning, looking in the mirror, and instead of seeing wrinkles or gray hair, you notice the light still shining in your eyes. And you ask yourself, what do I want this light to focus on? Another test result, or the smile of the people I love? I remember James at 86 telling me, Harold, I've been through enough hospitals, enough scans, enough IV tubes, but the happiest moment of my life was sitting on the porch, listening to my 5-year-old grandson read for the first time. His words struck me, because we often get caught in the cycle of tests, treatments, and worry, forgetting that true health isn't just about fighting disease, it's about holding on to every moment of joy. Here's the twist. Modern medicine gives us powerful tools, but sometimes those very tools steal what matters most: peace of mind. A perfect number on a report may please your doctor, but it means nothing if you no longer have the strength to sit at the dinner table with your family. So what's the real secret to staying healthy after 70? It's not piling on more tests. It's not chasing the same standards set for younger people. It's knowing your limits, making wise choices, and putting quality of life first. Ask yourself this: how do you want your final 5 years to look? 5 years in and out of hospitals, enduring the pain of aggressive treatments? Or 5 years of peaceful walks in the park, hugging your grandchildren, and sharing quiet conversations with your lifelong partner? The answer you choose today will shape every decision you make about your health. Here's the AHA. Health after 70 isn't a battle. It's an art of balance. The art of knowing when to intervene and when to step back and simply enjoy life. The art of asking before every test, every pill, every treatment, will this actually help me live better? Take a moment right now. Close your eyes and think of one moment of happiness you've had in the past year. Maybe it was a family dinner, the sound of birds in the morning, or simply the relief of a good night's sleep. Write it in the comments. My happiest moment was. By sharing, you not only remind yourself of what matters, but you might also inspire someone else to remember theirs. Remember, after 70, the goal isn't to race against illness, but to slow down and savor every heartbeat, every breath. That's how we keep the heart truly strong, not just medically, but spiritually. And if you're listening today, I want you to know this: you are not alone. There's a whole community of older adults choosing peace, choosing dignity, and choosing life beyond numbers. Join us, share your story, and help spread the wisdom of living well. Because in the end, it's not about how many years you live. It's about how deeply you truly lived in the years you were given. How much time do I really have left? Those were the quiet words Margaret, at 82, whispered when she held the results of a biopsy in her hands. The tiny growth on her thyroid didn't take her life, but from that moment on, fear began to eat away at her days. She stopped going for her morning walks, gave up her gentle exercises, and even lost her joy at family dinners. She wasn't dying from disease. She was fading because of the fear that a piece of paper created. That story shook me because it reveals a truth we rarely face. We believe that knowing more means living longer, but often, the more we know, the less peace we keep. Health after 70 isn't just measured by medical charts. It's measured by our ability to hold on to joy, to find calm in the storm, to keep living with purpose. Here's the twist. A test result can rob you of sleep for months, yet one smile from a grandchild, one morning listening to the birds can strengthen your heart more than any pill. It's not about adding more tests. It's about adding more moments that make life worth living. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, if tomorrow were my last day, would I want to spend it in a waiting room or in the arms of someone I love? That answer will guide the choices you make today. William at 79 once told me, I've got stacks of medical results, but not one of them made me feel healthier than sitting on the porch reading with my wife. And I believe many of you listening right now have felt the same way, that sometimes medical numbers make us feel weaker, not stronger. Here's the deeper insight. Older adults don't truly fear death. What they fear is living their final years trapped in anxiety, stripped of independence, robbed of joy. That's why sometimes knowing less but living more is the real victory. I'd like to invite you to join me in this. Leave a simple comment below. I choose to live more. Just 3 words, but they could become a spark of hope for thousands of others watching this video. When someone sees that phrase, they'll know they're not alone and that a community exists, choosing quality of life over fear. Friends, after 70, health isn't just about what a test result says. Health is about whether you still walk under the morning sun, whether you still have the breath to blow out candles with your grandkids. Wand Heather, your heart still stirs when you hear an old song. And let me remind you, as clearly as I can, the goal isn't to know more, it's to live more. If these words resonate with you, I invite you to subscribe, to stay connected, and to share your own story. Together, we can build a community where health is not just medicine, but the art of living fully, with peace, freedom, and dignity.